Okay, are we live? Looks like we should be live right now. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. This is going to be another episode of FOLO Cast. This is going to be number 5. I hope everyone out there is staying safe amid all the chaos, confusion, and gnashing of teeth that's going on out in the world. Oh man, you gotta keep yourself physically safe, but there's also other aspects. There's your physical health, physical safety. That's your nutrients. That's your whatever you use to defend yourself. Martial arts, weapons, body armor, shields, a house to protect yourself from the weather. That's part of it too. And then there's the other side, you guys. There's your information diet. There's your information safety. There's your mental safety, your spiritual safety. And this show is where you turn in, and it's like a superfood for your information diet. It's like your brain walking into a Whole Foods with a ninja blender and just blending up the best shit and chugging it down. That's what I'm here to do with my audience. A lot of stuff that I want to talk about today. I woke up this morning and just had so much, creative energy. Like my creative juices were just going and going. I don't know why, but I was like, I need to create some art. I don't know, some mixed medium or some spray paint. So I went and bought some spray paint, and I'm pasting together a canvas right now. It's just some old cardboard that it's super glued together, and then there's weights sitting on top of it right now to squish it. But it's started to rain now, of course, so hopefully the weather will be a little bit nicer tomorrow, and I can, go outside and actually do the piece that's in my head. I want to do. It's going to be a spray painted version of the American flag. It's going to have the thin blue line. It's going to be inverted. It's going to have pentagrams instead of stars, and then out of the blue line, there's going to be like red dripping out of it. And if I can get the canvas to work the way I want it to, it'll be splitting apart at the blue line in the middle, and like dollars and like a mask maybe and some bones, whatever other garbage I can find that reminds me of the current state of things, will be kind of like spilling out of the blue wound along with all the red dripping down. So I'm excited to make it happen. I'm excited to bring it to life. And I don't know, man. Like I looking at art as an investment has made me realize like maybe personally I should take my own artistic creations more seriously and actually like try to hang on to them and try to make prints out of them and stuff like that. Because the last real serious thing that I did got ejected from my life without even being finished. It was so close too. It was the Marlboro piece that was on a window screen. Just a bunch of, I think over 200 ripped up packs of Marlboro cigarettes in the shape of lungs. So the lungs were red and then white from like the Marlboro lights. I stripped that up and cut them into triangles. And so then all around the red lungs are all these white triangles. There's fields and fields of triangles. And then coming up from the bottom of the lungs, there's like a broken mirror, a bunch of shards of a broken mirror that's like a gradient from the bottom of the lungs to the top. So, but yeah, I lost that whenever I went crazy on drugs and lost my mind downtown. Not good. But yeah, this piece, I don't know. I think it's a good idea if I can get it to look the way I want it to look in my head. I think it'll be a really nice piece, and I think that I might be able to make some buzz around it, or maybe do some prints or something like that. I don't know. It seems like a really cool world to get into, though. Like you can make some art. You can make one art piece that'll maybe take you half a day or the full day, or maybe a really long time, depending on what your medium is. For me, most of my stuff that's in my head right now is going to be pretty quick. I really want to do some spray paints and some other just really, really fast stuff. I want to like design some basically like parodies of web icons for modern crazy events that are going on. So yeah, a lot of art ideas, a lot of creative energy today for me. But what are we going to talk about today, you guys? Of course, we're going to talk about the crypto markets. Of course, we're going to talk about the price of Bitcoin. Of course, we're going to talk about why the dollar sucks, all that sort of thing. And I mean, let's just dive into that right now. Let me pop over to my broadcast software. Oh, mouse is not plugged in. Okay. And we'll take this guy, shrink down, hop over to my little trading window spot, because I always look to, I don't know why, I just always look at a World Coin Index. I see other crypto guys, and they have other ones that they use that are way better, and you can do like actual TA and not just like look at basic trends and shit. But I don't know, I like this one. I like the look of it, and I like that over here on the right they give you like a bunch of different exchanges and what the price is on that exchange. So it's like just a really nice snapshot of where the price is actually coming from, and you know you'll see that there's some exchanges that are basically always higher and that sort of thing. So I like this view a lot. And then at the bottom, you don't have EMA ribbons or anything like that. It's just or not EMA ribbons, the Bollinger Bands? No. What's that? What is that technical analysis visualization that's at the bottom of some charts? I know it's on my, I can hide my screen and then check my Kraken account. But yeah, they don't have that on there. It's just like very simple like volume, you know? So I like this. It's not confusing. It just allows me to really quickly see what's going on. But you can see right now, you know, we're I mean, for Bitcoin standards, we're going sideways, right? We're 93.50 at the beginning of the day, and now we're not even 95. So we're basically just going sideways right now, you guys. There's really nothing going on. We had that drop off. I guess so it was this last night or something, maybe yesterday. I'm losing track of time. This whole the pandemic and the bullshit and the riots, it's yeah, I'm losing track of time even more than I usually do. And I'm not even like involved in anything. That's the thing, is like I'm just like dicking around and like learning some new stuff and experimenting with YouTube and thinking about what I would do if Bitcoin went to $1 million and what boat I would buy, and you know, now I'm gonna do some artwork. It's like I'm just fucking around and I'm losing track of time. But I don't know. Actually, now that I'm saying this out loud, this is why I love doing this, because it's like journaling, but out loud. You know what I mean? It forces you to self-reflect. It forces you to keep talking. It forces your ideas to just flow. And Bill Burr has become my my podcast role model, man. His riffs are just out of here, man. He just knows what he's doing so well, and like I don't know. I think that he's on the path to be like on the Dave Chappelle kind of level. I really do with the stand-up, because his podcast is just like an overflowing fountain of content for him, because he's just basically doing stand-up live every day for an hour or two, and it's like a muscle that you flex. You know, it's like it just gets better and better. And Dave Chappelle's one of those guys that's like, you know, he's been the king of comedy for a while, and it's because he has just so many hours. I don't know if you've been like watching what different comedians are doing, but Dave Chappelle is just like, screw everything that the system has built for me. I'm just gonna roll around in an RV, show up to random comedy clubs, or put on. He's been putting events at like wedding venues and stuff like that. So I don't know. He's doing some really cool stuff. We got anything else going on the crypto markets? Yeah, it's pretty much sideways, you guys. Not really too much going on there. This morning I had a margin call, or I guess it was, yeah. So I guess this drop that we're looking at here on the 7-day, I guess that was this morning, because yeah, that's when I got margin calls, and from Kraken was like, hey, your margin levels are they basically do that whenever your margin level gets under 80%, which means that you have open positions. You have too many open positions basically that are over the current price. So too many long positions, and then it would be the opposite if you're doing short positions. Like the price is too high, you're on shorts, and they're way down here, and you were betting on it going lower, but it actually went higher. So then your margin is still going to go down. But once it gets down to 80%, they shoot you an email, or I think you can do a text too, but it'll say, hey, your Kraken account is just reached 80% margin. So you're basically, from that point on, at risk of getting liquidated at Kraken's discretion. So anywhere from 20% to 80%, 20% being absolute cutoff, that's when all your positions get liquidated, and you're basically left with 20% of whatever your initial margin position was for your account, you know. So you yeah, that's how you lose a lot of money, margin trading basically. So I didn't get liquidated. I don't think any of I still have all my positions open, and I never got a notification that was like, hey, this position is getting liquidated because you suck. So I think it was just like the courtesy call of like, hey, you're at the level. But then like it quickly recovered. The price recovered. So I went back above 80%, and now I'm at like my margin levels are like close to 90. I usually try to keep them over 100, but it's man, it's tricky when the price starts getting over 9,500 and you get really excited and you think like, all right, let's break 10K, let's do it. I want to put in another position, and then you'll have like I had like 115 or 120% of my margin levels, and then yeah, I did like one more tiny position, and yeah, and this morning the price dropped. But that's okay. I didn't get liquidated. I'm still just cruising, man. And it looks like on the weekly, it looks like we found, because we had that big drop, right, when we got rejected from 10K, the most recent time. So we actually, we recovered pretty quickly, and now it looks like we're finding a new funnel, and it looks like not a new funnel, but a new upward trend. You know what I mean? I forget what that word is, where it's like basically falling in between two lines that are parallel. So yeah, that's what's going on in crypto. Some alts actually took some bigger hits. So if you're looking for an opportune time to get into alts, that was it. I don't know. Well, there's some of them that haven't recovered yet, so it's still a good time. Cardano. Let's go to, what's the good website to look at all of them? I think CoinMarketCap. Yeah, I usually use World Coin Index, and this is the one people usually use to evaluate the altcoins. Boing. Well, you can see the name of the ones we're looking at from over there. Okay, so let me sort by market cap. That's what it does by default, I guess. Where are the ones I want to look at? Cardano, you can see it's back under 8 cents. This is a great opportunity, you guys. If you're looking for a really solid alt that is going to be long term and that is going to have the stability that other alts aren't going to be able to compete with in a few years, Cardano is the one. If you don't know what sets Cardano apart, it's actually very interesting because it's, instead of doing the traditional software that's not even traditional, modern software development approach where you're using lean and you're using MVPs and you're using Agile and you're doing open source, you're collaborating, all that kind of thing. Just go, create, fix bug, what's the next feature? Go. Cardano is doing basically the opposite of that, and they're doing basically like this. I call it the scientific method for crypto development, because they are just moving so slow. They're testing everything, and they're putting the entire platform through the same peer-reviewed rigor that encryption algorithms actually use. So like the SHA 256 or any cryptography algorithm goes through peer reviews. It goes through universities. And so that's what Cardano is doing with their entire platform. Rather, they're not using anything fancy for encryption, but it's like they're just doing that process for their whole thing, which is really crazy, man. It's gonna mean that it's slow moving to begin with, but as they decide on features and they solidify them and they have really good people working on it, and they're not rushing to make any decisions, that they have to wait for this paper to get reviewed. They have to, wait on some professor or some BS. I don't know what they're doing, but I just know it's slow. I know it's stable. I know it's a good buy. That's all on Cardano. What other coins are we looking at here? Dude, Crypto.com coin. What are you doing this high in the market cap rankings? Oh my goodness. Wow, that makes me feel a lot better that 30% of my portfolio now is Crypto.com coin. You guys get yourself some of this, you guys. It's back under 12 cents. It was almost 12.5 cents. Now it's almost 11. Buy this coin. That's all I'm gonna say. You might not ever use it. I only really use it to exchange between like other It's like basically the liquid coin for crypto.com is the way I explain it. You see a lot of ecosystems, proprietary ecosystems that are getting set up like crypto.com use the dual coin model where one coin is basically like their gold or their hard moving asset that's usually going to be used for staking. In the case of crypto.com, it's used for staking and then also unlocking new account levels. So if you have 50 of their MCO token, not their crypto.com token that we're looking at here, 50 of their MCO token versus 500 versus 5,000, and then I think 50,000 is the highest level, which is like over $250,000 at this point for that card, just for that card. So you have to cough over $250,000, and then it's locked away for as long as you want the benefits of those cards. And then if you want access to your $250,000 again because you get fucked or you know whatever, then you don't have the top benefits for the card anymore. Your card basically gets knocked down to whatever level you liquidate to. Stellar, I don't mess with that. I don't know. There's so many altcoins that it's like this one looks like it would be a good investment. It looks like the price took a good hit and it hasn't really bounced yet. Like let's go back up to the top, you guys. Let's look at what Bitcoin's doing. You can see that really, I mean, it hasn't really recovered that much in comparison. So all the kind of stuff that I was talking about earlier is not necessarily true, and there's still opportunity for this drop with just Bitcoin. Just to touch on, because I've never looked at this view on this channel before, don't buy these. Bitcoin SV and Bitcoin Cash, it's fake. It's a fake crypto. It's a cash grab, basically. Okay, so moving on, we talked about Stellar, that I don't know about it. There's too many cryptos. Chainlink, you guys, if you know me, you know I love me some Chainlink, and I encourage everyone to, I think you should try to get at least 100 Chainlink. I think that's a really good number, and I think it's very, very doable right now for a lot of people. That's basically 410 or 420 bucks maybe with whatever exchange fee you're using. So 400 bucks, man, that's like, most people are getting this like every week right now from the government. So if you haven't had the idea yet to take your dirty boomer bucks and convert them into Chainlink or another great crypto, then there's that idea for you. Monero, I don't have any of right now, but I wish I did, and it looks like it's a good time to buy. I don't know how much lower we're going to go here, you guys. Once you start to get down to less than $1 billion of market cap, that's where I start to get pretty speculative and pretty, yeah, not so sure I want to participate. But there is a lot of little good ones down here that people have been talking about that are on the way up. Theta Coin has been absolutely smashing it recently. We can look at the charts for this one. Oh yeah, this is why I don't like to use CoinMarketCap, because their charts are just like really, really horrendous, and there's no way to turn any of these nasty lines off. You know what I mean? It's like, oh great, thanks for the chart. But the green line is the price. So you can see it's while everything else the past day has dropped off. Well, let's go to the 7-day. Yeah, it has dropped off a little bit, but look at this. Theta Coin is absolutely smashing it right now, you guys. I wish I had more Theta Coin. Only a small amount. Oh yeah, I'm watching Billy Burr right now. That's what inspired me to start this one, because I was like, dude, he's just crushing it on this podcast. But yeah, you guys, that's that for the day. I think that the thing to consider right now, and the mindsets that you want to be aware of, is how everyone in traditional finance is looking at the markets when it comes to things like derivatives, when it comes to things like cryptos, when it comes to even a lot of stocks right now that are in the major indexes are on the chopping block. And the way that everyone in traditional finance is looking at it, let's just take Bitcoin for example. The way that people in traditional finance look at the Bitcoin market right now is a game of hot potato, okay? And this was much more prevalent a few years ago. It's becoming less and less prevalent, and you see more and more people kind of waking up and understanding what's going on. But it's basically like a game of hot potato, where they believe that the Bitcoin is the hot potato, and they need to quickly move it around and make as much dollars as they can from it. And who's going to be left holding the hot potato? Who's going to burn their hands? Who's going to be like, dragging this big, heavy, useless bag of Bitcoin up the road whenever it crashes to 5 cents, This is the way that people were thinking, and a lot of people still do think this way. And then to be honest, I feel exactly the same way, except for the dollar is the potato. The dollar is the thing that I'm throwing, and yeah, that's it. Like you don't want to be left holding a bunch of dollars when this hyperinflation kicks in, and that's where I believe we're going. You don't have to listen to me. You can make your own choices. You can stack up a bunch of seashells for all I care. If you that's the way you want to live your life. It's like people asking me constantly. Hey, well, not constantly. It's a semi-common conversation for people to want to know. Hey, I know you're into Bitcoin. Like, I just got into it. What price are you selling at? And it's like, I mean, yeah, probably not gonna sell. Like right after the halving, I was like, I'm gonna time this market. This super cycle is gonna be, my millionaire maker. Yada yada yada. I'm gonna chop off half my portfolio and liquidate it whenever we get to 300,000 or 250,000 once we get up there. And I've just been looking at more and more technical analysis, you guys, and I don't think that's going to be a good move for this super cycle. I think the next one it'll be a really good move, but this one, I think that once we break 100,000, which are, I don't know, you guys, it's obviously nothing is a guarantee. Bitcoin could outlaw it or some craziness that could crush the price for a few more years, but at some point, it's going to get 100,000, and at that point, we're going to have, it's going to be insured, right? There's going to be options. There's going to be futures set up. We already had the CME, the one in Chicago. They got that one. But it's going to be like that everywhere. Now they're doing one in Canada. There's going to be one in New York. And when that happens, that's really going to light the fire for a lot of investors and make them realize, oh, we're at 100,000. This thing has been around for 12 years. It's not going anywhere. It's still performing really well. I don't have any in my portfolio. I don't have any in my client's portfolio. I don't have any in my retirement account. Fuck. And then that's when you're going to see like what happened in 2017, but even worse. It's going to be even worse because this is going to be a mainstream run. And so I think that late 2021, or maybe even mid 2021, depending on how things go, but sometime around there, right? Maybe like 9 months from now. No, a little longer than that, but anyway, when we get there, I don't think that we're going to see an 80% retracement. I really don't. I think it'll be like maybe 25 to 30% retracement. This is what a lot of people are saying now, you guys. I'm not a TA guy. I don't want to be a TA guy. There's good enough TA guys already on YouTube, and they do a really good job, and I trust their judgment. And yeah, so, but the end of the story being, I don't think I'm gonna be that aggressive this super cycle. I think I'm mostly just gonna hang on to what I got, and I don't know. Like my plan was to start laddering out a little bit at 250,000. So maybe I'll still do that a little bit. It's like I don't know. I just feel like I want to move slower than what I was saying whenever the halving started, based on new information. So that's like that's what's going on in that world. Buy some Cardano. Don't buy Theta right now. Don't FOMO into Theta. Wait for Theta to go back down, but then get some fucking Theta. Chainlink. And then all the usuals, get some Bitcoin, get some XRP, get some Ethereum. Preserve your wealth. What else do we want to talk about today, you guys? I guess talk about leaving Portland and like why I'm just so oh man, I'm just done with it here, dude. That's the only way I know how to put it. I know I've talked a lot about like agencies and like web work and shit like that, but I've been like meditating more on this and why did I like develop this animosity towards an area? Doesn't really make sense. But it's not the area; it's like the people in the area, right? And I was like trying to figure out like why, what's wrong with it here? Like why do I have such a hard time socializing? Why do I have such a hard time making friends? Why does it feel so different than Eastern North Carolina? Why does it feel so different than even Utah? And I think dude, I think people here are just delicate. Like people here are sensitive, and I guess I'm not. I mean, I'm sensitive. Everybody's sensitive, right? But it's some people are little bit spikier or a little bit rougher around the edges, you know? And I feel like I can't speak to people here. I feel like I cannot actually express myself honestly. In conversation in Portland, whether it's at an office, which is the main effect, you know, that's where I spend most of my time in the day. That's where I notice the most. And or downtown or at a bar, anywhere. People are just so delicate. I feel like in conversation here versus in North Carolina or Utah or Detroit or Chicago or anywhere else that I've, you know, spent more than a week or two, I feel like in those places I can speak my mind. Even places in California. This is not a West Coast thing. This is not a West Coast thing. This is a Pacific Northwest thing. Maybe it gets even worse in Seattle. I don't know. But I haven't spent enough time in Seattle to really tell. But in California, it's not like this. In conversation here, I find myself like sidestepping and like tiptoeing, like I'm on eggshells, or like back tracing, or like explaining frantically, you know, what I meant, or just like being generally stressed because the looks on people's faces here sometimes when you're talking to them, it looks like they're about to break down and cry or have some kind of outburst because of a joke that you said or anything. You know, it's like I don't know. It's way too PC. It's way too I don't even know the words. Sensitive, delicate, emotionally engaged, like especially in an office. I know I kind of touched on this earlier and then said it's other places too, but you guys, at an office, I cannot express to you how little I want to work for a company that is wasting our time and our budget, most importantly, our HR resources, on catering to people's emotional sensitivities, right? If you're not emotionally stable, get the fuck out of the office. You're not ready to work. You need to go work on yourself, okay? Like, great example of this in Portland. I was interviewing. I was the first one there. I sat down at the table. You know, the lady at the front, she said, hey, go sit in the conference table. I'm going to send the guys in, and you guys are going to do your interview. So I go in there, sit down, my little bag next to me, get my resume out, you know. They come in and, you know, we introduce ourselves, and in the introductions, they ask me what my identifying pronoun is. And I just, like, looked at the guy that asked the question and just, like, quickly made eye contact with the other three guys that were in there and just didn't say a word. Just got my little resume, got my little bag, put that in there, and walked the hell out of there. Like, why? Why is it a relevant thing ever? Especially during a job interview introduction, like your first impressions. This is what you're going to ask me? This is what you're going to ask me. How the hell is this relevant to what I'm going to be doing for you for pay? Okay? It's not. It's not ever relevant. It's an office. It's work. It's, for me, engineering work. Hey you, or hey you. That should be good enough for anyone in an office when you're at work. Okay? Like, dude. The workspace is not your fucking college campus, okay? So just take the shit and shove it. Get it the fuck out of the industry. Take it back to the campus or wherever the fuck it is that you guys talk about this bullshit, okay? And it's not like I don't care about these issues, okay? I understand that they're hard issues. It's just, don't fucking waste my time when I'm at work with this bullshit, dude. Like you're doing identity politics and like throwing up your social justice feathers and you're signaling to everyone that you're fucking righteous. I don't want that at work, man. I really don't. I want to go to work and I want someone to say, hey, we looked at the data and this is the best solution for the customer and for the client or for the operator or whatever. We need you to build it this way. And I'll look at the data and I'll either agree or disagree, but even if I disagree, it's like, well, you're the boss, man. You know, if I can do it this way, if this is what the analysts say. And that's what you do. You just do it. You just do it. Okay? You can say your opinion. You can say, hey, I don't agree with the way that this data was digested by our analyst team or by our strategy team or whatever the hell the case may be. But it doesn't matter. If you're a builder, you build. Okay? You don't say, oh, well, I'm offended at the way this data was interpreted. I think
that my idea has been cast aside and not considered because of some numbers. Meh.
And it's like this is what goes on. It sounds ridiculous, but it's like I mean that's an exaggerated version of what happens, but you know you get the idea. I want no part of it. I want no part of it anymore. You guys, I'm just done. I can't socialize here. I can't do anything here without feeling like I need to put on a suit of armor to have a conversation. You know, it's insane. It's insane. And for everyone in Portland that's gonna watch this and say, "Oh, well, you're the problem," it's like, no, dude, because this is only here. This is only Pacific Northwest, and it's only the urban Pacific Northwest. Go to Lincoln City or anywhere, it's not like that. I don't feel that in those places. Like it's just Portland. So yeah, I'm out. I'm totally out, dude. I have no interest in staying here past my lease. I have no interest really in getting another job here. It's like if one lands in my lap and it pays me really well, maybe. But why? And that's just the start of it. That's just like the job market and the social justice bullshit. There's a lot more that pisses me off about this place. Like the developers here, not the tech developers, but the like the land and structure, architecture developers, whatever the hell they're called, they're fucking retards here, you guys. They're so stupid. Jesus. And you know what's hilarious is like 2 years ago, people were protesting, like developers and developer unions or some shit were protesting that they weren't getting paid properly for the work that they've done. And it's like, yeah, no shit, that's because you guys blow dicks at what you do. Like, seriously. Why are you building a building in the late 80s in an urban environment downtown in a major West Coast city and not including AC in a downtown office building? Are you insane? Or like, what are you thinking, man? Like, the world's getting hotter. No one tell you that? Fuck's sake. We can figure out how to run AC off of solar, people. We're not going to destroy the world by having a fucking AC duct in a building. That's not how it works, okay? And then, okay, that rolls perfectly into the electricity situation in Portland. What the fuck are you electricians doing? Whether it's, oh my gosh, it's on every level too. Like it goes up to like the transformer stations, the way that those are organized. I was downtown by PSU. I was waiting on the MAX train to take me south to Milwaukee. I was waiting on the orange line. And sitting there at that substation, just checking it out because they were working on it. I wanted to see what they were doing. And the way they have this thing laid out is so retarded that they had to uninstall a fence to get the bucket truck to where I had to go. So you just wasted 2.5 hours uninstalling a fence because whatever idiot electrician, civil engineer that developed this substation didn't even fucking consider where the repair vehicles are going to have to drive. Jesus, like it's amazing that this place is still running, man. It really is, and it's not even really. It's like an illusion of it. It feels like, okay, more on the electrical grid. So that's like the civil engineering, right? Let's go up another level to your neighborhood grid, right? Those are fucked. Those are fucked. Every single time there's lightning here, everything, and it comes back on, but it's like, why does it go off? You know? If you're running a computer or you're, I don't know, like anything, something sensitive electronics, like you have to, everything has to be on surge protectors. You can't trust anything. You have to, if you're doing something sensitive, if you're doing like you're running a server or like some advanced process, it's like you need fucking battery backups just to do something on your fucking computer in the entire city. What? So stupid, dude. And it's not even like a violent lightning storm that this happens. It's like it'll be raining and just one thunderhead will pass over and you'll just hear one instance of thunder and that'll knock out the power for 5 seconds. Like, I'm fine because I'm using a laptop, but it's like, man, I feel bad for people that are trying to be like PC gamers or something on a budget and trying to like make a new computer for $500. And maybe they skimp out on the power supply, right, and get like a silver 300-watt power supply, and then their whole system burns out because the electrical grid in the city is shit, and no one's going to get held accountable for it. So let's go one level up. You got the civil engineered bullshit transformer station designs. You got really crappy neighborhood grids. It's like, what's going on in my house? What's going on in these wires that are around my fucking face? Like, I can only imagine if civil electronic engineers are making such crazy infrastructure design blunders that the guys that do the wires that are running through people's houses are drunk, have no qualifications, and have no oversight. Basically, you know, it's like if the sub power station has a shitty design, what does that mean about the wires in your house? You know, I like if I woke up in the middle of the night and found myself with molten copper sprayed across my face, it would be no surprise. It'd be like, oh, yeah, that's one of the wires, you know, exploded in my wall, and I was melting my face off. Like, it would just, you know, the hot rubber or whatever else blasts you from that. I don't know. Wouldn't be good. I think about it sometimes, you know, everyone always says they feel safest at home. And if you think about the way modern houses are designed, it's like they're very flammable. They're filled with really, really toxic shit. Basically, every piece of furniture, every electronic in your home, even books, have really, really gnarly adhesives in them. I've been getting into adhesives, by the way. Adhesives are cool. But yeah, man, some of them are really gnarly, and they don't care. They're like, this one's cheap. We're gonna use it in this power strip. This one's cheap. We're gonna use it in this book. And it's just all floating around in the air, all around your home, all the time. Dust from furniture. I mean, like, I got a mouse pad, like a cheapy mouse pad. I can only imagine what that thing is actually made out of, and what adhesive they use to hold this together, and you know what it's doing to air around. It's all toxic bullshit. It's all shit. And on top of that, okay, so that's what's like the consumer goods in your home, and the air in your home, and the stuff that you touch in your home that's toxic. Then you have like the actual walls of your home, right, are flammable and made out of wood, and you got sheetrock. And what are those walls filled with? They're filled with pressurized boiling water pipes and electrical wire. It's like, yeah, I feel very safe here. I feel very safe. I don't feel safe here. I don't feel safe in Portland. I feel safe usually in a house, you know, like even places like in Wellington that I was paying like nothing in rent for, like $400 a month or something in rent, you know. So it's the cheapy little places that I live. It's like those houses were fine. You didn't have these weird, stupid issues here. Like I bought this fan, right, and I thought it was defective because the fan speed would oscillate, and it would basically have periods where it was going faster and periods where it was going slower. And I was like, what the hell's going on with this? What the hell's going on with this fan? It's brand new. I still had the receipt, I still had the box, and the store that I bought from is right over there. So I box it up, I get the receipt, I go over there, I get a new one, and I plug that one in, and 5 minutes into having that one, because what I was thinking was, well, if the speed is like basically shifting into different gears or something, when I'm not, you know, controlling the switch, and I'm not turning anything in my house on and off. You know, I understand there's some small applications, personal applications that you use in your home that'll you know, suck on the whole grid of your home. Basically, if your grid isn't in your house set up to be, I don't know the words for it, but be like, you know, more stable and to have like a very accurate output all the time. Like a lot of houses, if you fire up like an old vacuum, it'll dim the lights and stuff like that. But to me, like that's a sign that the wiring in the house is not good, basically, or needs to be updated, or needs some kind of transformer or resistor arrangement or something. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. I'm not an electrician, but you know what I'm saying. It shouldn't do that. So I'm sitting in my house. I got this fan that I've now replaced, and it starts doing the same thing. And so I'm like, there's got to be a faulty bearing. Like maybe it's just a really shitty manufacturer. And I'm looking up, and no one's saying that this fan is bad, or no one's having problems with it like I am. And I eventually figured out it's my neighbor that I share a wall with. Just, you know, turning on her lights or off or something, or maybe turning her computer on or something like that. Doesn't matter. It's like, it doesn't bug me. It's just like, dude, I wasted this time to go like get a new fan, and like thought this fan was shitty. Went and talked to their customer service, yada, all because like the wiring here is just poopy, you know. I don't know. Everything's just so pasted together and low quality in the city. aside from like the food and the beer, you know, it's like why is it so expensive to live here? It makes zero sense. Like this is a I think like 11 or 1,200 square foot 2 bedroom. It's $1,400. It's not even in the city. It's way south of the city. It doesn't make any sense. I think the rent market here is gonna just fall out from under people. Basically, I think that the demand is gonna drop off. People are gonna be asking the same questions that I'm asking, like, why am I living here? Why am I paying so much? There's no fucking jobs here. There's no anything here of value. It's basically a paste-on environment, you know, with a bunch of delicate little flowers running around for citizens. Yeah. So I'm moving to Miami, which is like, as far as I can tell, maybe the opposite, maybe too far opposite for me, but we'll see. But you know, there it's like slimy business deals and fast living, selfishness, money, jobs. You know, stuff that I want to focus on in my late 20s. I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't understand people here. I really don't. But that's that. What's next on my list, you guys? Oh, we can talk about that. We can talk about guns, you guys. I was going to talk about boats later, but let's talk about guns first, and other self-defense tech too. So I don't have anything right now. I used to have a shotgun and a rifle, and now I'm just down to a little handgun because I'm like selling everything. Well, it's a Sig 365 XL. So it's like the reason I like this one is because dang it, dropped it. The lighting in here, I didn't see it right, but it just fits my hand like so perfectly. I really recommend this handgun. If you are new to handguns and you go into the gun store, they're probably going to tell you to get a Glock. I say you should get this. It's a little bit more expensive than a Glock, but I think it's worth it just for the ergonomics alone. Yeah, with Glock, it just feels way too big for me. Like this grip is just very, very slim, and apparently they designed the whole thing around the magazine, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's really nice. It fits my hand so well that I wouldn't really ever consider another pistol after this, unless you know, I don't know. Like I don't see other ergonomics on this thing could be better. But go ahead and get resituated and back in the holster. So yeah, that's my personal defense thing I like to use. I think that if you're inexperienced with firearms and you want something for home defense, just get a shotgun. Get a shotgun with a buttstock or a foldable buttstock, something like that. Don't try to mess around with an SMG. Don't get a pistol. It's way harder to shoot. It's way harder to do damage. Well, I mean, no. A shotgun's harder to shoot, but in my opinion, it's harder to do damage with a 9mm than it is with a double-out buck out of a 20-inch barrel, you know, or something in that range. Yeah, man. With shotguns, it's like unless you are a small-framed person, or you maybe have a girlfriend who is not ripped, or you have like maybe a kid who you also want to be able to educate on the gun and teach him how to use it, or teach the smaller frame person how to use it, or teach yourself how to use it if you are not very large. Then yes, that is the person that I would recommend get a 9mm or maybe even a 40 Smith & Wesson SMG, not a handgun. SMG. Get an MPX. Get something. I mean, MP5s are cheap, way cheaper than like any modern one, and it's like that was the standard for a long time. That's a really, really good SMG, you guys. MP5. Obviously, you're not gonna be able to get a full auto one if you're just getting into guns, because you need all kinds of licenses plus like 30 grand for one of those. Because if you guys don't know, the way the market works for automatic weapons in America is such fucking horseshit. Like all the gun laws here, it makes zero sense. It's basically anything produced after the year 1980 or 1981 is only for military use. So if you make an automatic rifle in, let's say you're in Arizona and you start a rifle company and you want to make some automatic variants, the only people you can sell that to is military, a very, very limited range of military contractors, so things like Blackwater, and police. So basically, American citizens are forced to buy things made before 1980 or 1981. I don't know the exact year. But what that does is, number one, is like you can't get a modern automatic weapon, but the cops can, blast you with that, no problem. But you can get like an MP5 that was made in the 70s, right? For example. But what this causes is because there's no new ones entering the market, the prices are just retarded. They're so insane to get an automatic gun. It just doesn't make sense. And for everyone that is like anti-gun or whatever, and you're saying, oh, well, it's less automatics on the street, it's a good thing. It's like, no, it's not. It's really not. Because if someone wants an automatic, they want a modern automatic, they're just going to modify their trigger group. It's like I think that people that aren't into firearms get something twisted about the way that they work or the way that they're made or something like that. And this is not some magical item. Like, it's metal and polymer, and yeah, it has a not an explosion, but a very fast burn inside of it that shoots a projectile out, another piece of metal. So there's no flux capacitor. There's no, I mean, the internet, especially like YouTube and some of these other platforms, they've started to really crack down on these guys. But like a few years ago, you could go on YouTube and watch guys that had made like homemade Mac 11s or stuff like that. Like out of like the garage door metal, or out of like any sheet metal that they can bend and basically turn into a receiver. And yeah, it's like, even if yeah, so I don't know, man. I think that just more people need to maybe get a little bit more educated about what actually is a gun before they talk about, like, you can just ban them all and there won't be any more. It's like, I mean, and maybe that is true in some countries. That's not true in America. Like, this is it's a part of it here. Unfortunately, cuts way out of the bag. And yeah, lots of people make guns here, and it's like, the other thing too is like the legal side of it, of making a gun. It's not just the technical side and the material side. It's so easy. You basically don't need anything unless you're a felon or maybe on some other crazy list or mental health problems or something like that. You can make a gun in America. You can make a gun for yourself. You can go shoot it. Maybe some ranges won't like to see some homemade firearms there, and they won't allow you to. But find a range that's okay with your janky looking Mac 10 and go have a ball. But I mean, there's other alternatives to guns. I understand it's very taboo for some people, but it's gotten less taboo. Everything that's been going on. So there's other options, but there's a reason that this is the standard. There's a reason that this is what is used for defense and offense. It's the best solution that we have right now. There's pepper spray, but if somebody comes in your house and you shoot pepper spray, like, I don't know, that doesn't seem like a good situation. Because it's not like you just get hit with pepper spray and you drop to the ground, you know what I mean? There's plenty of videos of people getting just blasted right in the face with pepper spray and not flinching. And then there's tasers, and there's videos of the same thing of that happening. I think a taser is better than pepper spray, though. And if you do get a taser, get a taser. And quit calling stun guns tasers, okay? That little thing that that's not a fucking taser, you idiot fuck. That's a stun gun. That's basically a capacitor and two, electrodes, okay? Like, those things make zero sense. You're gonna have to get right up close to someone, and it doesn't actually incapacitate them. It just hurts for as long as those electrodes are touching them, which, of course, anyone is gonna flinch away from that. You know what I mean? It's such an insane thing to carry in your purse and to think that's gonna protect you. Get a taser. It's like $300. Jeez. What other ways can you defend yourself? I don't know. Like there's bowler wraps and shit like that, but it's like that doesn't make any sense. None of that stuff really makes any sense. Like if you're gonna defend yourself with tasers, like what if there's two guys that come into your house? Tasers shoot once. Now you're fucked. You know? I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me that people are gonna insist that guns are not the effective way to defend yourself or your family or your property. It's asinine, honestly. It's like, I don't know, there's other stuff that you can do to defend yourself a little bit. Like, martial arts is not practical in the real world. Martial arts is a competition. Martial arts is a sport. That's it. I sometimes like to carry around like a really high watt laser, and that's like my version of pepper spray, I guess. But that actually doesn't, like, when you get blinded by a laser, you're not actually gonna experience like real pain. I guess it's not like the stinging kind of pain. I guess it's pain. It's the pain of your optic nerves getting fried. So yeah, maybe it doesn't feel good. I don't know, but obviously I've never been blinded by a laser. I'm still seeing, but can't imagine it feels great. But what it can do is it more effectively blinds more people than pepper spray. And unfortunately, it's in the case of certain wattage lasers, like once you get over about 800 milliwatts, any kind of like quick little flash across someone's retina is gonna permanently destroy or permanently seriously damage their eyesight. There's just no way around it. It doesn't matter what color laser you're using. It doesn't matter if they have sunglasses on, unless they have laser protective goggles on that are protective for the right wavelength of whatever laser they're getting shot with, which is like no one's walking around with a variety of different laser goggles. You know what I mean? That just doesn't happen. So it's like it's an effective way to destroy someone's eyesight and then run away. And the other cool thing about it is that with a laser, it's like there's no range. With pepper spray, even if you get like a really, really good can of pepper spray, you're pretty much limited to 15, 20 feet. Laser, I usually like the 2 watt. I think that's a good balance of both power and like battery life, basically. I think that's like a good range. I don't think it's a good range for like beginners, but or anyone with a low risk tolerance, actually. Like it's very dangerous, but I like it a lot. So that's like the one I carry, and like the range on that thing to permanently blind someone in less than a fifth of a second. So basically, the snap of your fingers is how long the beam needs to be exposed to your eye. Out to 1.2 miles, you can permanently blind someone that quickly. So they're basically as far as you can see and accurately, actually sweep the beam across someone's face is what your range is limited to. And then, maybe you can get like a bipod or a tripod. I've thought about this before because, then you can make much more like precise movements. But at that point, it's like you're sniping people's eyesight with a laser from a mile away. What are you actually doing? You're not defending yourself. You're just destroying people. So, yeah. I don't know. It's like that's like an exotic defense option is what I would call that, and that's also what I would call like the bullet wrap and even a taser, and even pepper spray. It's like an exotic way to defend yourself. I think that those things should be for professionals, and I think that if you just want to buy something and not really worry about it too much, maybe practice with it a few times a year, get a gun. That's all I got to say about that. Yeah, I mean, like melee stuff is just retarded, so I'm not even gonna touch on that. Like, it's really really funny to me, like these mall ninjas and stuff that, it's like, oh, you got a switchblade. That's how you defend yourself, huh? You must either do no research on violence and knife violence statistics specifically, or just not value your life at all, or maybe you can't afford a gun. Maybe that's it too. But everyone can afford a gun, man. You can go to a pawn shop and get a cheapy little 357 or 38 special, or like a little revolver, for $150. You can get one of those Judges. The Judge is a 210. I think it's a 210. Is that the correct thing? Yeah, it's like a 210, and then and then some other whatever kind of actual bullet, not shotgun shell, fits into that same thing. So it can shoot regular bullets, or it can shoot like basically double-aught buck, and it's a little revolver you can fit in your pocket. It's pretty cool. Yeah, lots of good options out there. That one's actually not that cheap though. I don't think. Maybe, I don't know. What are cheap options? There's cheap shotguns at pawn shops too. I mean, as far as an SMG goes, you might be hard pressed to find a cheap SMG, but I'm sure that they're out there. I think probably an SMG, you're probably looking at spending at least 500. But I don't know. I haven't really ever shot for an SMG. I don't really have interest in it. I would just get like an SBR, a short barrel rifle, or a regular rifle, or a shotgun to fill that role in the arsenal. But what else, you guys? I think that's really it for like gun defense tech talk. We already talked about Portland and the AC, you know, all the electric and all that shit. What else are we talking about here? Jobs. Oh yeah, the job market here is shot, you guys. Especially, I mean, for me anyway, the tech scene is just dead here. It's like there's no actual like product teams here that are actually like hiring developers anymore. There was about a year ago whenever I was looking for a job, and you know, there was what was that one company, Opal? Like that was one of the product teams that they seem pretty cool. And there's a few others, but now it's just no, because you know what the reason is all the product teams here are already stacked up. They already have all the developers that they need to be moving at the pace that they want to be moving at, and they're bolting these developers to the ground because they know that if they get away from them, they're going to move to Seattle instantly. Like basically everyone's already done who has the wherewithal to understand that you should be looking for a product team job, not an agency job. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that today. You guys already know how I feel about that. How about just the general stuff that's going on right now in modern events? I don't really understand how a lot of it applies to technology. Oh yeah, I do. I can put a spin on this. Like the information diet, right, that we talked about at the beginning, is just so weird right now. I don't even really talk to people online, even on like Reddit or anything like that right now, because everyone basically thinks that some article that they read makes them an expert, or like they take it as fact, and it's from some like major news outlet. It's not researched, it's not reviewed, it's not yeah, it's an article, and it's not facts, it's entertainment for modern events. Like news in the United States, it's become like the way I used to explain Alex Jones, right? I used, whenever, because I had some like liberal hippie friends or whatever in North Carolina. You guys know who you are, and they would always say like, "Oh, Alex Jones is evil, man. I can't believe like he's saying all this stuff, and like people believe it, yada yada yada. What, I can't believe like how we do this." And I'm like, "Are you guys serious? Like you take this seriously? You take that seriously?" Like the way I used to like to explain Alex Jones is he's basically like pro wrestling, right? It's like he's existing in the modern world. He's talking about stuff that's going on, just like pro wrestlers do. But it's a production. It's made for fucking-tainment. You know what I mean? And I think that with Alex, it's a really, really weird case because he's just like really, really good at what he does, or he's really stupid. I don't know which, but either way, I think it's entertaining. I think it's fucking hilarious that people believe it. And basically all of the news in the United States has become that. It's all of the news, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, it's all professional wrestling now. I went to a friend's house and they had CNN on, and it's like, I just don't even, I don't even want to, like, I'm done with you for the day, you know what I mean? I'm gonna go go smoke a Black and Mild and sit in an alleyway, contemplate the miserable state of this country. And it's like the same thing with Fox, man. It's like if I walk into your house to see Fox, it's like, God, why? Why would you? It's like, oh man, it's like going to McDonald's every day. It's like, or Taco Bell, you know? It's like those kids that in middle and high school would eat flaming hot Cheetos for breakfast and for lunch, and then in the afternoon they'd be like, oh, I don't want to go to lacrosse practice. My stomach hurts really bad. It's like, oh yeah, that's because you had 2 bags of Flaming Hot Cheetos, you fucking retard idiot. What are you doing? What are you doing? You knew you had practice today. You knew you had a tournament coming up. Like, are you this unaware about your own shit? You like, and I'm still ranting about Fox. I'm not mad at the guy that in high school. I made that up too. Okay, I'm not talking about anything specifically. It's just jokes. But it's like, do you not look at your own poop? Do you not look at your own food? Do you not like think about how you feel after you eat something? Or like you're just slopping through the world, and like people do that with their information diet too. It's like why would you do that to your mind, man? You know, every once in a while, Burger King or I prefer Wendy's. I think Wendy's is like the way to go if you're gonna get a shitty fast food burger. But every once in a while, that's great. Or Five Guys. Oh, tremendous! A little milkshake, those fries. Ooh, some peanuts to get you started. Not bad. But that's an occasional thing, okay? You do that once a month or a few times a year if you're a fitness freak, you know? Or maybe every Friday if you're depressed and your job is bumming you out. I don't know, but you don't eat at Five Guys every day. You don't eat at Burger King every day. That's insane. People do this and then they wonder why they're 200 pounds overweight. They wonder why they're uncoordinated. They wonder why their thoughts are not forming properly and they're making retarded decisions all the time. It's very frustrating to watch the same thing now happening with Americans' information diet, and it's like all those same bad habits are now carrying over. I don't know. Maybe I'm just now noticing it. Maybe it's been going on. It's not actually happening, but it's just something that I've been paying attention to. But yeah, it's like I don't want to talk to people about anything right now. It sucks, man, because I like to talk about modern events. I like to talk about modern technology. I like to talk about, you know, if there's a pandemic, you know, how do you defend yourself against it? What technology can you put on your team and your arsenal to increase your chances of survival, increase your chances of not contracting the disease? I love talking about that stuff, man. But you go out and you talk to people, and it's like they totally dismiss what you're saying and don't want to hear any of it because it's a little bit different. And there's no conversation anymore. It's just like blasting each other with words. It's really asinine, and it's even worse in college cities, and it's getting worse and worse every day. And Portland, I believe, is the fucking capital of it. Yeah. I think that, like, whenever I went back to Eastern North Carolina, I went and visited a buddy there, you could tell it had gotten way worse there in Wilmington. It's like it's just become so PC-driven, so sensitive, so look at me, look how modern I am in my beliefs. And that's like every conversation, that's all anyone's talking about is their fucking feelings or, oh my God. It's like you live next to the ocean. Go snorkel in the ocean, okay? Go see some animal that could body you in half a blink of an eye just for being annoyed at your existence, okay? And then tell me you want to actually have a serious conversation about what my identifying pronoun is while we're in a job interview, man. Like, it makes even less sense for cities that live on the ocean to have this attitude, in my opinion, because when you go out and actually look at the ocean, if you have any kind of perception of your place in the world, that is the most humbling thing ever. More so than space for me. Like, when I look at space, it's just like, it's kind of abstract. Maybe I'm just stupid, but for me, the ocean is like very immediate, you know, especially at night when you see that it's just like a big mass, and you know all those monsters that are in there, dude. Oh, you know? Or if you go scuba diving, man. Like, just look at the life, man, in the ocean. You know? It's like I don't know, a lot of people, for me, like, that's my perception of it. A lot of people think it's because people don't do any hard work now. Like, some people's bits, you know, it's like, why don't you go chop wood or try to focus on finding clean water for a week without a tap and without a store to buy wood, and then, you know, see what it is that's important to you, see what it is that you want to talk about. Yeah, you know, so that's kind of where I'm at with that. It's like, I don't like talking to most people right now. I'm basically a hermit right now. I go to the grocery store maybe once or twice a week. That's about it. I like to go on walks on the decommissioned railroad up here that goes through the tunnel. This is really creepy and funny, and there's lots of cool graffiti in there. And yeah, that's basically it right now. Like, I don't have an instrument here to mess around with. I really wish I did. This would be a great time to get really, really good at viola. Yeah, like I do nothing, man. I wake up, I journal, I have my little morning routine. I take a walk with a book, and then like I read a chapter or two at the park. If it's raining, I go to the park that has the shelter, and that's like it, man. I wish, I felt like I could participate more socially right now, and I understand that that part of the problem is me. Part of the problem is that I'm rough around the edges or whatever, but yeah, it's like I'm just living in the wrong environment, and it's like in most cases, like for someone like me who's saying this stuff, I might tell them like, well, might be the best place for you to live because it's gonna force you to look at what you're doing and look at how you're talking to people and be more sensitive. But it's not because I can't even get to square one here. I can't even I can't even get to that point. So I'm gonna move somewhere else where hopefully I can at least socialize again, and then maybe make some emotional or spiritual progress, or the fuck it is I'm actually talking about at this point. What else, you guys? I'm almost out of water. I kind of got to poop. We're over an hour. We talked about Bitcoin. We talked about guns. We talked about, what did we not talk about that we usually like to talk about? We didn't talk about boats today. I wanted to do like a more of a deep dive on some of the higher end. I've really been digging into that. Just I know I'm probably never going to be able to afford something like a gunboat or an HH or even like a Balance or Katana. It's like, man, those are multi-million-dollar machines. I'm probably never going to be able to have one of those, but it's really, really cool to look at those boats and to look at the technology that they're using, to look at the direction that they're going. Because just like with everything else, just like with cell phones or computers, boats are the same. It's just a different technology market. And first you get the new innovation at the high end. Like right now, it's the foils, right? And you get the innovation in the racing market. Like right now, this actually isn't a boat that's for sale. It's not even part of the market, but it's a racing boat. I think it's called the A075, and it's what they're going to use for the new America's Cup, which I didn't know about till this year, but it's apparently a very, very old and very, very famous sailboat racing competition. But the model for this year is so crazy, you guys. So last year, not last year, but the last series of models that they had, which usually one model of boat will last them for like 2 or 3 or 4 years of the events. So the last ones that they did was a foiling catamaran, which is the 2 holes and then foils. So usually you have centerboards to make contact with the water. This one has not centerboards but daggerboards. This one has foiling daggerboards. So it was basically T-foils that were going down through the middle of the catamaran. And the cool thing about that setup is everything was light enough because it was all carbon fiber T-foils, carbon fiber rudders, carbon fiber everything, so that everything, the centerboards could be manually lifted up and down, and not by hand. They were still obviously, I think, hundreds of pounds, not quite a ton, but maybe 400, 500 pounds on each side of the boat for each centerboard or daggerboard. Daggerboard foil, T-foil, whatever it's called. They weigh a lot, so you can't just lift it up with your hand. You have these little cranks, and you have to do it that way. But it's cool when they can do the boats that way, where everything's all manual, because then it's like, man, it's like just humans moving the thing, in the wind. It's really cool. But this year it's different because it's a monohull, number one. It's not a cat. And the reason that they did it that way is because the foils that they're using are basically like 40% more effective than the last ones that they did. There's videos, if you go on YouTube, just go A075 or new America's Cup boat, and yeah, it's basically out of the water 100% of the time, even in like low winds. But the foils on this thing are so heavy. Like each one is, I think, 1.2 or 1.3 tons. So, and even made out of whatever it is that obviously they're making as light as they can. But the thing is, like these things, they have to be kind of beefy because of how much force is going on them. You think about, it's not only lifting the boat out of the water, it's also all the water smacking into the front of this thing. So they have to be pretty strong. Yeah, so these ones are too heavy, basically, to be operated by crank. And also, because it's a monohull, it has one on each side, right? But they don't go up and down like this, like usually you see on boats. Instead, they rotate out and they come out. So they have these giant mechanical hydraulic mechanisms inside that are powered by lithium-ion batteries. And the thing that I don't understand is, so what they do with the America's Cup is they manufacture the hull, and then they give you the hull, and then you build the boat from there, right? But with these mechanisms, what are they going to do? Because it seems like it has to be standardized for everyone. Everyone needs to have the same weight of lithium-ion batteries in there, right? And have the same mechanisms and arrangements of all the mechanics and everything, or else it's, you know. So I don't know. I have to do more research into that and figure out how they do that. But I've actually been thinking about it, you guys. Whenever I first kind of got interested in like pursuing more sailing in life, I was like, I just don't want to do the cruises. I just want to get a Leopard and just cruise the BVI and maybe circumnavigate once or twice. That's it. But I don't know. Like all this racing technology, some of it looks so cool, man. Like that boat in particular. Like it goes 50 knots. It goes over 50 miles an hour on wind, and it does that in like 30 miles an hour wind, 35 miles an hour wind, and go 50 miles an hour. What? Just flying. Like literally flying. I think that foiling boats, whether it's a sailboat or a powerboat, I think we need a new word for it. I think it's a new class of vehicle, basically. A foiling, like these boats, they're just completely out of the water, man. And like they're doing their full jibes, which is where you change direction and then the wind is hitting your sails on the other side. So, and they're just staying out of the water the whole time, staying at speed. The only things touching the water is their rudder and their foils. It's like, what? It's a new vehicle. It's not a boat. It's something else. It's because it's like, it's a boat if it's not foiling. It's just a boat with foils at that point. But when it starts to actually foil and lift out of the water, that to me is now a different vehicle. It's kind of a new mode of transportation that I don't think we have like the vocabulary for yet. But it's like you're flying. You're flying, but instead of your wings being in the air, they're in the water. Yeah, yeah. It's really neat, man. But yeah, I think I kind of want to get into racing. Maybe see what it takes to participate in. Obviously not the America's Cup, but something more local or something like that. And like foiling now, they've kind of figured it out so that it's not just for the high-end racing guys. They don't really have it figured out for cruising cats quite yet. You saw like the gunboat G4 and the DNA, whatever that one was called. But I think that was actually the same mold cast for the hull as the gunboat. I think those companies either like traded with each other, or one company bought the mold from the other guy or something, because they look almost identical. But you know what really bugs me about the G4 is like, okay, yeah, this is a foiling cruising catamaran. Like I guess it's a blue water craft. People use it with that. But I can't find an interior tour of the thing, and I don't know if that's like it doesn't have an interior, or it's like they just don't want to show it, or what is going on. But it's like if it's a foiling cruising cat, to me it's not a cruising cat unless it's not actually a yacht unless it has sleeping quarters, right? That's the definition. And to me it's not a cruising yacht or a cruising boat or a cruising cat unless it has a head, i.e. a bathroom. I don't know if that's the right way to use i.e. Tell me in the comments. And yeah, like it's not a cruising cat unless it has a head and a place to sleep. Okay, that's it. Like, and it doesn't even have to be big. Like it could be like a mat or something, just room to sleep and a toilet. It can be super simple plumbing. But to me, with all those things, it's like I'm not really interested in it because that's the kind of sailing that I want to do. I'm not interested in buying it. I would be interested in sailing it, of course. Wow, it would be really, really cool to sail a G4. That'd be awesome. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that'd be really, really fun. But I would not interested in buying any foiling boat unless, okay, so this is kind of what I was getting at before, is that it's not just for the super high-end, because a gunboat G4, that is super high-end. But it is kind of a cruising cat. I just don't really know if it is actually a cruising cat, because I don't know if it has a head or not. But, fuck. Lost my train of thought, dude. Oh yeah, so like the kind of like racing that I would qualify for, which is basically an inexperienced jackass that just think boats are cool, um, is like stuff on lasers or sunfish or maybe some single sloops. Very very small boats. But what I was gonna say originally was that those boats are starting to get foiled. So people are putting T-foils on those. People are putting other design foils on those to lift them out of the water and sail them, fly them rather, uh, across on top of the water with low wind speeds. And obviously, less boat means less wind needed to use it. So there's the one that I guess the one that makes the most sense to me, like because the way I'm thinking about it is like if I have a cruising cat, right, and then I want like a mini cat, right, like a mini basically like the most minimal version of it would be like a windboard, right? But they have smaller sailboats, But I wouldn't want obviously I wouldn't want like a laser or something like that on a cruising cat. Where are you gonna put that? There's nowhere to put that. But there's this one called a UFO, and it's a tiny little catamaran, just a tiny little platform that you can maybe have 3 people on, 3 small people, but more of a one-man craft, and it's a foiling boat, and just super small, just flies. So good looking too, just like really really nice looking craft. Very very just edgy and fun. Like it looks fast, like it looks like it's gonna fly, and then it actually does pick up out of the water and fly. So there's that one, and then yeah, like the lasers and stuff like that. But even the UFO, right? I'm not sure that you could really practically store that anywhere on like a regular sized cruising cat. Like if you got above 60 feet, it's like yeah, there might be some spots to kind of hide it away. But I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a good spot that you could hide something like that. I guess if you disassembled it and you could disassemble it. You could put maybe I don't know how much it actually comes apart. I don't know if the mast clicks apart or if you can just unhook it from the boat. But if the mast does collapse down into more pieces, then you could store that basically anywhere in any of your lockers. And the sail is the same thing. I can go anywhere. And then the hull of the boat, the foil detaches, the rudder detaches. So then you're basically just left with a flat foam core catamaran, no fiberglass hull. And I think that if you had so the spaces of a boat, they refer to the cockpit as basically a social area. I don't know why. Like when you think cockpit, you think that's where you go if you're going to steer the vehicle, but that's only I guess for airplanes. For ships, it's called the helm or the helm station. That's where you do that. But the cockpit, the rear cockpit, which is basically your back porch on a cat, usually has a hardtop bimini, which is just the sailing word for like a fiberglass cover over you, and there's usually like a good amount of head clearance. So if you maybe had like a significant amount of head clearance, like maybe if your hardtop bimini was like 8 feet or more, like if you had 8 feet, I don't even know if any boat has that. Maybe a sunreef. But then it's like you could just use some bungee cords or something like that and put the whole of the UFO like on basically the underside of the hardtop bimini, so that when you walk out of your back door onto your back porch, your back cockpit, you look up and there's your UFO on your roof. You wouldn't want to put it actually like on top of the bimini. You want to suspend it under it. So because if you put it on top, it's like then you're losing solar real estate and. Plus, it would just look silly. That's like the main thing I'm thinking about when I think about this. Like, if you had a cruising cat and then you had a windboard, could you store it out of sight? That's the whole thing. Is like, I don't know. I don't know if that's a me thing or it seems to be a thing with a lot of catamarans. Is they like the boat to look clean. Everything on the boat needs to be in a storage locker. Basically, you don't want stuff out. Taking up room on the deck, it's just unoptimized. It doesn't look good. It's sloppy. Oh man, is this still raining? I really want to do this spray paint today. Check out the window here. I don't know. Yeah, it's raining. I'm not gonna be able to do this today. My voice is getting worn out, you guys. I think I'm gonna call it a day here. We're at an hour 20, so that's pretty good. I'm getting better. I guess I can talk about with the plague locally for me. So I'm in the Portland metro area. I'm south of the city. I'll tell you guys. I live in Lake Oswego. I live kind of by the post office. So I'm gonna be out of here by the time he actually watches this. But yeah, I live by the post office in downtown Lake Oswego. So here is actually considered it's Clackamas County, whereas like downtown Portland and like the east side of Portland is Multnomah and Washington counties. So yeah, they those counties are still in phase one, but Clackamas was like, oh, screw it, dude, we're gonna do what we want. And so restaurants are open here, bars are open here. So I might go have a sit down at the Dullahan and get myself some bangers and mash, or maybe a traditional shepherd's pie. Maybe got the best just Irish food in there. I've never actually been to a place where I'm like, man, Irish food is really good. You know what I mean? But like that place is, and it's kind of worrying me because I feel like next to it I'll be thinking that the UK food is good. You know how I actually feel about that. Yeah, but it's good, man. They got some good stuff in there. Like they do lots of like sauerkraut. They make their own sauerkraut. It's really tasty. They make their own like dressings and seasonings. What else do they have in there? It's been so long since I've been because of the shit that's been going on. Fuck, I'm gonna have to go look at their menu. Hopefully they got some new stuff on there. I'm trying to think. What's the other thing that they serve with the mashed potatoes? There's bangers and mash, and then there's something else in mash. Oh, corned beef and hash, of course. So yeah, I got that one. They got all like the traditional Irish meals. It's really good. I think I'm gonna go have a meal there. I'm starting to feel my digestive system go hyperglycemic. Start to eat itself. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Thank you for watching, and I will do another live stream for probably the next 2 days. Yeah, I'll do probably do something this weekend. But anyway, yeah, thanks again for watching. Stay safe out there. Stay frosty. People are acting weird. Peace out.